Okay, now we're going to do the doodle notes for chemical equations. Alright, so first thing we need to know is what is a chemical equation and what is a chemical formula. So to start off, we'll just identify a chemical formula. Okay, and examples of chemical formulas are H2O, CO, CO2, NH4. Okay, these are all types of chemical formulas. Now we can combine chemical formulas to make a chemical equation. So a chemical equation is going to contain a plus sign or multiple plus signs and a yield sign. So for a chemical equation, we might have H2 plus O2 yields H2O. So it's a combination of chemical formulas that are added together or decomposing and yielding a product. Okay, so you've got your plus sign, really important, and you have your yield sign in your chemical formula. Or, I'm sorry, in your chemical equation. Okay, so if we put this all together, and this is going to go, what I've typed next is going to go underneath what I've put. I'm just going to open a new. Okay, so when we put this all together, let's talk about, we'll write the chemical equation. Hydrogen peroxide yields water and oxygen. So now let's break it down into its parts. Okay? This is the release or absorption of energy. That's what the arrow means. We call this the arrow is called the yield sign. So that means to yield. Now, we're going to use chemical formulas. So this is a chemical formula, this is a chemical formula. Okay. So those are chemical formulas. The entire thing is called a chemical equation. And if I were to divide the chemical equation in half, write down where I've added energy. Okay. On this side of the arrow, I'm going to have the reactant. And on this side of the arrow, I'm going to have my products. Okay. So another thing you might notice in this chemical equation is if I look directly at a chemical formula, and I'm just going to put this underneath, like H2O, the chemical formula is made out of symbols for the elements, and it's made out of subscript. And subscripts tell you how many of each that you have, and it tells you the ratio. So for instance, and remember, if one is not written, it's understood to be there. So this means I have a 2-to-1 ratio, which means I have 2 hydrogens connected to 1 oxygen. And that's what makes a water molecule. And that's all you need to know about chemical equations.